Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. Shalom to the elders of Great Millstone for preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. I say shalom to the Akim out there, and this is a sit-down lesson that I want to bring out from MSN.com by Daily Mail by Chris Jewers, if I pronounce his last name right, published 2 hours ago. And it says, Belarus dictator Lukashenko says he will not hesitate to use Russia's tactical nuclear weapons. And this comes on the heels of, Russia announced the nuclear weapon deployment order to Belarus, and they recently signed documentations of that as well too, which is going to be deployed very soon. And while you have the tensions are stirring up of Belarus and Russia, which is allies with one another against NATO and armies of their allies as well too. And NATO had a recent military exercise. I believe it was the largest air drill military exercise. And they was saying, it was from a news article saying they were sending that direct message to Russia. So keep that in mind as well too. And it says, read the news article. It says Vladimir Putin announced the planned deployment of the short-range nuclear weapons to Moscow's neighbor and ally Belarus earlier this year. The weapons are expected to be deployed to Belarus soon after July the 8th. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko said Tuesday that he wouldn't hesitate to order to use of Russia's tactical nuclear weapons that are set to be deployed to Belarus if this country faces an aggression by NATO countries, potentially. It says if this country faces aggression. Earlier this year, Vladimir Putin announced the plans to deployment of the short-range nuclear weapons to Moscow, neighbor and allies Belarus, in a move widely seen as a warning to the West and it step-ups military support for Ukraine. And it says the Russian president has emphasized that Russia will retain control of them, but Lukashenko's statement contradicted that. Forbid I have to make a decision to use those weapons today, but there would be no hesitant if we face an aggression. Lukashenko, known for his blustery statements, saying, according to the state news agency, the BELTA, it says Russian officials has no immediate comment on Lukashenko's remarks. Lukashenko emphasized that it was he who had asked Putin to deploy Russians' nuclear weapons to Belarus, and not the other way around. He argued that the move was necessary to deter a potential aggression. I believe no one will be willing to fight a country that has those weapons, Lukashenko said. Those are weapons of deterrence. Putin said during Friday's meeting with Lukashenko that work on building facilities for the nuclear weapons will be completed by July the 7th through the 8th, and there will be moved to Belarus territory quickly after that. Tactical nuclear weapons are intended to destroy enemy troops and weapons on the battlefield. They have a relatively short range and a much lower yield, from a fraction of the kiloton to around 50 kilotons. That nuclear warhead fitted to intercontinental